What's up, guys, and welcome to another episode of the Tampa Bay Real Producers Podcast, of course, powered by Top Producers Nation. This, of course, is the podcast that is made for top producers, with real producers, and with none other than Tampa Bay's real producers. And we have a guy today that this has been long overdue, all right? We should have had you on probably back in our first episode, I have a feeling.
That's okay.
Way back in the day. But if you guys don't know Jason McIntosh, I don't know where you've been, right? You're probably sleeping under a rock somewhere.
I love it.
This, by the way, is J-Mac's studio. So
Yes.
He's been extremely gracious over the last year plus to allow us to use this studio on a regular basis. I get compliments, by the way, Jay, all the time from people who are like, your studio looks awesome.
I love
I'm like,
it.
it's not my studio. It's J-Mac's, man. He's done a great job building this thing out.
Yep.
So we're going to dive into your story here. And for people who might not know it, I think it'll be educational. And I know you have a lot to offer for people who want to build organizations and scale them. And you're just a genius at a lot of this stuff. But I wanted people to know that, like, we are here at the corner of West Shore.
4890 West Kennedy Boulevard, Suite 100 Urban Center, right across from the West Shore Mall. I've done that a few times.
That's where we are, baby. That's where we are.
West Shore.
This is J-Mac's home abyss.
Yeah.
His podcast is Mac Moves.
Love it. Real Mac Moves, yep.
And he had a radio show that you were doing out of here for a while as well, I believe.
Yep.
So let's start with your background, man. For people who might not know your story, how did you get yourself to Tampa? Eventually, how'd you get interested in real estate? You know, I know your background has to do with the car business. We can start there a little bit. So why don't we give people some education?
Let's go way back in the early days of the J-Mac.
Let's go back to the J-Mac days.
So I've only done two things in my life, really.
Yep.
I've sold and served my country. So I've been in sales all my life since 15. One of my first jobs in the mall selling clothing. Back in the Z Cavarici IOU days, you might remember those.
I do.
Gerbeau, cross colors, things like that, you know.
Do.
So I've been in sales all my life. Went into the military pretty young, about 19. And I think that's where the structure, the discipline, the accountability, the punctuality, that's probably where all that stemmed from.
Yep.
Right. And then
Army, right?
Yeah. And then I was in the car business early on too. Right after I got out of the military, joined the car business. 20 years, two decades in the car business. So I was the number one business salesperson in the business center for the longest time. Then became a sales manager, general manager. So it's kind of in my blood. I was a national sales trainer for a little bit too, on the road, recruiting and selling for dealerships all across the country. So it's kind of in the DNA. It's all I know.
Yep.
So, a little bit of that is motivational speaking behind that with the recruiting and the sales training. Just finding the right team and partners is very important in anything.
Yeah.
So, where
was that based out of, Jay? That wasn't Tampa, right? When you were in the car
that was in the Midwest, St. Louis, Missouri.
Yep.
The Show Me State. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. That's where it all began. Yep. That's where my sales career began.
And then when I went there with the family a couple summers ago, you gave me a couple of stops to check out, and we took your advice.
The barbecue, did you make it to Ted Drew's? The custard? No, you didn't make it there. That's the one. Next time you go back. But
we did
the pizza, thin crust.
The pizza place.
The Hill. You went to the Italian, the Hill.
The Hill, yeah. There was a couple other like touristy things that you told us to check out that we did. Yeah. So it was a fun trip, man. We appreciated the help.
Absolutely.
No doubt.
You'll have to make it back.
So you were crushing it in the auto business.
Yeah.
And then at some point you decided that you wanted to leave.
I did. So, I think my history. I'll tell it to those that don't. At 34 years old, I was widowed, and my wife passed away at 34 of cancer. So it left me with a 13-year-old, an 8-year-old, and a 9-month-old who's now 16. So there was just a change, in the dealership. The car business was great to me. I owe a lot of where I'm at, and the accelerant is the car business because I take a lot of that. I've put it into real estate. But it just came to a point where I just got tired of eating dinner with my children at 10 o'clock at night, right? So I knew there had to be a change. I knew there was a better way. Again, I attribute most of my success to the car business and what I learned there. And real estate just allowed me to be in charge of my own schedule, my own pace. You work just as hard and just as many hours, but you're in control of your own schedule.
Sure.
So it's been very rewarding. I'm very blessed. My oldest is actually an agent on the team. And, for those that don't know, J-Mac all my life, my grandfather name, you're not a grandfather yet, but
Not yet.
I have the coolest grandfather name. It's GMAC.
That's cool.
Right. And so I just found out I'm going to be G squared here in come January.
Congrats.
So my oldest, who's 24, will have her third
That's awesome.
in January. So G squared, GMAC
awesome.
squared.
Are they local, all your kids?
Yeah. Yep, they are. 16, she lives with me. My oldest daughter is 24 on the team, and she's on the team as an agent. And unfortunately, in 2018, I did lose my oldest son at 23.
Gone through some tragedy in your life, my man.
And my mother-in-law, she just passed away on July 4th. And she saw, if I want to dedicate this show to anybody, be to her. I've known her for 27 years. She lost 2 daughters and a grandson and a husband. So her time came July 4th, and she's in a better place. But
God bless her.
Strong Polish woman. She's not afraid to speak her mind. My wife is the same way, and somehow that ended up in my 2 daughters. So they continue to haunt me here to this day.
I don't think I ever told you, but my wife is also Polish.
Really?
And her mom, my mother-in-law, also passed years ago now. But 2017.
Yeah.
She lost my wife lost her mom and dad the same year.
Yeah.
And her mom was Polish
firecracker.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. I didn't know this.
Cook though, boy.
Oh man, they throw down. So there's a reason why they drink vodka at breakfast. Polish women, right? Woo, they run the roost.
Got to calm them down.
Oh my gosh, they got vodka going through the veins. But no, the Polish men to cope because they're in charge for sure. There's no doubt. I'm man enough to admit that.
Now your daughter, who's working here, didn't she just get her first deal not that long ago?
Oh, she's had many. Yeah. So one of her first. Yeah, she's got a handful of deals. We're working a few right now. As a matter of fact, we just went under contract yesterday on one of my listings in Lakeland that she went and showed, and boom, contract. So she's doing real well.
Very cool.
It lets her kind of fit it into her motherhood schedule, which is the real reason why I got into real estate, is just to be in charge of your own schedule.
Yep.
Until you're not.
And if you don't know J-Mac, I mean, he's been a perennial top producer. His team just last year alone did over $100 million in sales volume, over 300 transactions. I mean, the guy has run a very scaled organization. So we
have to add that's in a down market where most people are 30 to 40% down.
Without a doubt.
So I attribute that to the people. But to the systems and processes in place.
Yep. We want to talk about some of them. So when you first started in real estate, because we connected, we actually featured you as an upcoming rising star in those early days, right? Huh? And then you've also been featured another time as a cover spotlight, for being a team leader.
I think I made the centerfold.
You did. You're right there. I'm looking at it. It's over there by the wall. It's over there on the wall right now. So
for the wrong reasons.
Walk us through a little bit of those early days, Jay. There it is. You could throw a little spotlight up in there. There's J-Mac.
Bam.
And I love all the patriotism up in this office.
Yeah, red, white, blue.
The floor, the signs,
Explosion.
You just feel patriotic when you walk in this place.
You have to.
Walk us through the early time when you first got started. Was your mindset that you knew from day one that you were in this business because for you it was about team building? You were going to grow quickly. You were going to grow through people and with people. You also had to do self-production at first, right? As you were learning the business and figuring it out. So give us some insight on that first year, how that dynamic shook out for you, and what was your game plan of going from self-production to scaling through a team as quickly as you did?
Well, that's a great question. And there was no doubt that I don't do anything halfway, I go all in. I've always been a top producer, whatever I did. I will tell you, it was very humbling to go to be an industry expert and top producer in the auto industry and come here and know nothing. I mean, I moved 1,300 miles away, started from scratch.
Yep.
So everything you see happened fast. The accelerant was the car business and what I knew.
What made you come to Tampa, by the way?
A good buddy of mine who was in the car business with Barrett Henry, he was actually already here doing real estate for 6 months.
Okay.
So that's how happened chance I came down to Tampa.
Gotcha.
Because he was already here.
Okay. So you had one person you knew.
Yeah. So basically everything from scratch. I started everything from scratch. Did I know? Well, let me tell you, there were some dark hours and lonely days. For the first 6 months in the business, I chased. I didn't farm. I got in the car and drove. Mm-hmm. So people that do the math before they get in the car, that their mindset's wrong, right? So you got to do this with a servant mentality, and this is a very relational business, not a transactional. So too many people trying to count the money It's people over paycheck.
Yep.
People over paycheck. If you put that person in front of your own needs and you have a fiduciary duty to do that, the money's going to follow. So all I did was do what I already know how to do, right? And I just served the people. And then it just blew up from there, right? So I did have, I started a team.
When you said you chased, give me insight. What does that mean? You were cold calling FISBOs?
Yeah, I was cold calling FISBOs, door knocking. We called that cat calling back in the day. Meow, meow, right, meow. And I mean, listen, when I did start buying lead gen, I was living in Tampa off Gandy, and I asked at the time, where can I get the most bang for the buck? Because it sold out everywhere locally. Spring Hill and Hernando. So I used to go 70 miles one way just for lead on a maybe. So, you are in charge a lot of your own destiny. So if I hear no, it just means I haven't given them enough information. So, a lot of sales is educating your client and giving them options so they can make an informed, intelligent decision.
No doubt.
Right? So you have to always put your own, their needs ahead of your own needs. And it just came real natural. So did I know it was going to happen? Absolutely. Did I set up for it to happen? Absolutely. But boy, did I struggle in the beginning. It was scary.
Do you remember what that results looked like in your first year? How many transactions, volume?
Oh, yeah. My first year, on team level, we did probably, I would say, between 50 to 75.
So how quickly
me, one
did you
person.
start building a team?
So I started the team at the late of 2018. So 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. I'm in my 6th calendar year as a team.
And from the time you got licensed, when?
I was just 2015, September 2015.
Okay, so you didn't build a team for 2 years then,
right?
You were self-production for 2 years.
I had a team, like a partner, so we ran a team together.
Okay,
tried a few different people, and I'm a very type A. I'm an Aries, so I have a real problem with authority. So that's why I didn't make it in the military. God bless America.
Tough place to be if you have a problem with authority.
Yeah, so I had to do my own thing on my own rules, my own terms, because I like to think I know what I'm talking about, what I'm doing. So I let my gut and my experience, and if I'm going to take the risk and the impulse, I want the rewards, right? But then it gets to a point where you can share that with others. So I pride myself on having a very plug and play organization.
Yeah.
Right? So you don't have to struggle because I have. Right? You don't have to pay the dumb tax because I paid plenty. Right? So just, it's working. I don't have to prove it. It's already working. So if you just Google military relocation, top agent, top realtor, wherever you're at in the country, the McIntosh Group shows up page 1.
No doubt.
I don't have to say I'm an expert. The audience does. When you have over 500 reviews, you have presence online, your audience has told the story for you through your hard work and dedication.
Was your mindset, Jason, that you knew from the beginning that you were always going to be in this to build a team?
Absolutely. 100%. No
so
doubt.
That was always a part of the game plan, right?
Always. I mean, I ran dealerships where, I was the person that, gave the meetings, motivated the people, hired the right people, the training. So, yeah, I wasn't going to go backwards.
Yep.
That's all I know.
Yep.
Yeah,
and now you're not in self-production any longer, or am I wrong?
No, I'm not in production.
Okay.
The only time I do production
when
is
did that transition happen?
If it's like a client that I've had in the past, then I'll help them. But I would say when the team got so big, it's a full-time job just to run the team. So
sure.
I don't have time to be out there in the field.
No doubt.
Right? So that happened pretty early.
At some point, you actually stop serving your team if you're spending too much time
Absolutely.
doing it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
It makes sense.
So I would say pretty early on. So it's been years since I've been in production.
Okay.
Years.
And so let's talk a little bit about the process of scaling an organization and a team like you've been able to do. Because I know that one of the things that you take a lot of pride in is obviously the success of your people, but you also talk a lot about the importance of your systems, right?
Yeah.
And so for anybody out there whose goal is to try to grow, right? Try to scale the way you have and as quickly as you have, what are some of the systems that have really been critical for you to see the traction that you've been able to get to support you? Things that you maybe wish you could have done earlier, or if you're looking back, probably would have done or instituted this quicker. What are some systems that resonate with you that were really critical?
Well, first I'll start by saying, before we get into that, as a business owner, you're not running a business unless it can run itself without you. So, you should be able to go away for a week, a month, and your business still runs. So if it isn't, your business is running you, number one. Number two, that's a great question. I don't regret anything that I've done because those mistakes have led to other paths and decisions and adjustments. So the one advice I have is fail forward. I think someone wrote a book, Fail Forward, because you're going to learn from those successes. If you never fail, then you're not going to be as smart, not as seasoned, and you won't have the wisdom.
Without a doubt.
And if you've never failed, you just lied. So embrace your failures. Don't be...
Especially in sales.
Yeah.
Real estate, sales. I mean, you have to learn from every single failure in this industry.
Yeah.
Or else you just don't have the mindset to be here.
Yeah. And don't think that you're too good to fail. Embrace the failure. Be proud of it. So CRM. If CRM is the major thing, accountability. So, there's things you want to do. You want to be able to delegate. You want to automate, and you want to eliminate. Those are three things that have really helped me streamline my business. I had to get to a point where I wouldn't let go of anything, and you will doom yourself. You'll just suffer. That's career suicide. So you need to learn to let go, to grow, and to delegate, and then you look at your systems and processes. What can I eliminate, or what can I automate? If you automate, you're eliminating a lot of the noise. So, in the very beginning when I had a smaller team, I talked to every single client 100% of the time because, I had a team full of inexperienced agents. So you're doing your client first and foremost an injustice, and your agent that doesn't have the experience. If you're just relying upon them, they don't have the answers. They don't have the experience. They don't have the depth, so they don't have anything to pull from.
Yep.
They need to learn. So they're going to learn good habits or bad habits, one of the two. So then it got to a point in time where how many conversations can I have in a day? And at the same time, you can't. So what I did was really develop internally an infrastructure. I have brand new agents. We call them buyer's agents. Basically they're showing agents that are in the buyer's agent driving seat. That's how they learn. So there's a managing agent on every transaction they're involved with. So there's always someone, leadership that's experienced, help them write the offer, negotiate contracts, etc. Then the in between there is once you get to a certain point, you'll get promoted to a production agent. Production agent has proven themselves as pretty self-sufficient. They don't need as much help and guidance. Of course, it's always there. And then eventually that production agent will get promoted to that managing agent. And that managing agent...
Is a production agent a listing agent?
They can, yes. Anybody on my team could be involved in a listing, even a brand new agent with no experience, only because there's someone with experience on the same side of that transaction.
Okay.
So it's ultimate accountability. So basically, a managing agent has the luxury of... We have one managing agent, Wilton, blessed to have him. He's been a long-time agent, probably... maybe even a decade in real estate himself. He has not a newborn anymore, but a younger one, and his wife works full time. So he does a lot of real estate out of the luxury of his own home, right? So, he's very good on the phone. He's very good at follow up. So he may initiate that conversation, get him ready to go, put it in the chat, new agent grabs it and shows it, and together they handle it. And he does that from the luxury of his own home. Or if he gets a lead, or he's assigned a lead too, because the newer agents, we have an automation within our CRM that when it comes time after they've spoken to a client, they go to the automation and it round robins a managing agent to it. So one's always assigned, right? So you can't fail. You can't fail in the team.
How many agents get assigned to your managing agent?
So we have near 30 agents, and we have about 8 managing agents. And so there's usually probably about a dozen or more agents that are assigned a managing agent to it.
At a given time?
Yep.
Okay. So in your experience, you found that that's kind of like the sweet spot as far as how they can give the proper amount of guidance and service.
There's no other way.
Right.
There's no other way.
Right.
There is no other way. Now, different organizations do things differently. They might have one person as like the mentor, but it's like trying to get hold of a broker. A broker's there not to... That's the thing, accessibility.
Yeah.
Is in this industry, as an agent, you have to be the accessibility to your client. You may be busy. You may be on the phone. You may be in front of another client. And that's not that client's problem necessarily, even though it's true. I was always really good. I had a video testimonial where the guy said, you know, you want a busy agent because the busy agent's out there being busy, making stuff happen. And I never felt any less important because if he was busy, he sent me a text saying, I'm in front of another client. I'm going to call you or text you when I'm done. And I always did. But silence is deafening.
Yep.
So you can't even let more than 30 seconds go by sometimes.
Yep.
But if having a true infrastructure behind where, you know, there's a team lead, so from team leader to director of ops to which is Monty, and then
did you create a lot of this structure through your experience in the military?
Absolutely, military and the car business.
Of how they had and the car business, yeah,
that
makes a lot of sense.
Yep. Chain of command is something very important, and you know, gets to a point where, you know, as a team leader, you should have staff and admin as just as important as the agents that you have.
Yeah,
just as important, because they're the backbone of the team.
Yep.
And so,
yeah, I was talking last night at our MVP social with Tony Baroni, and he was talking about his organization has about 28 agents right now.
Yeah.
But that 28 people really represents half of that is support.
Yeah.
So it's like he's got a 50-50 ratio of agents and support staff.
Interesting. I'll tell you an interesting story about that. Number one, I had Tony Baroni on the Real Mac Moves as a guest. And one thing we didn't talk about, when I first got here, I remember being very humbled because it was brand new, it was hard, it was difficult. So anybody that's made it in this industry, I know what it's like because I came down here 1,300 miles, started this from scratch, didn't know anybody, struggled, and I was in awe of some of these people's names that I would see everywhere.
Yeah.
Tony Baroni was one of them, right? So it was at some point in time, so here's what you can't do. You can't choke on humility.
Yeah.
You can choke on pride.
Yep.
So I was in awe of all these people, looked up to them, and even when a lot of them I put in my rearview mirror, I didn't look up to them any less.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's the endurance. It's just not everybody sets out to build the biggest teams. And there's I wouldn't wish this upon a lot of people either, but it was a lot of hard work to get here. But the reward is when you've instilled so much in so many people and you shape them, mold them, and it runs without you.
Totally.
That's the real gift that keeps giving. But yeah.
Jay, what would you say? I'm going to ask you this question and then, well, I'm going to give you my opinion first, then ask you this question. My opinion is, from an outside perspective, I feel like one of your superpowers is your ability to make it rain when it comes to lead generation. I feel like you've really been a master of that. Now, do you think that that's a superpower that you have, or do you feel like there's something else that is really a strength?
This is a great question.
Yeah.
Okay. Somehow I knew you were going to ask this question too. Listen, with anybody can make it rain at the right cost and expense. But if you don't have the rain gear, right, you're just going to get wet.
Yeah.
You know? So, yeah, you make it rain all day long. I can make it rain. We have the largest spend with one lead generation source of anybody in the greater Tampa area. And in the company, we're in the top 5 for spend. That's Zillow. So no secret. Everybody knows. So we're in the top 5 of spend for the company.
Yeah.
But anybody can make it rain. You can't continue to make it rain if you don't have the conversion because you won't be able to afford to.
Sure.
We have a 7-figure spend, and we have co-marketing lenders, 5, which is the max you can have, and they all spend 6 figures themselves. They wouldn't continue to do that if you couldn't convert.
Sure.
So anybody can make it rain.
Yeah.
It's the conversion. So you got to have the rain gear on, which is the systems, the processes, the training, the accountability. You have to have all of that.
It's awesome. The process,
because the leads don't suck, probably your systems and processes do.
and how many people actually don't embrace that and they just view it as the leads suck, right? So because of that, they don't read, they don't double down, they don't look inward first, right? They look outward at where the problem is.
Michael Jackson said it best.
Truth.
Looking at the man in the mirror.
Yeah, amen. That is the problem.
At the man in the mirror. You got to look at that man in the mirror.
I knew we'd have Jason break out in song during some point of this podcast. Go. That's a normal.
Without the music. That was acapella. Acapella even.
So, talk a little bit about how you have developed that conversion mastery, right? Because that is a game changer. And I think, I wonder how many people are out there that have taken the opportunity to invest big time in leads at some point, not do the conversion part right, and then say to themselves, oh, it doesn't work, Zillow sucks or anything else sucks, right?
Yeah.
Rather than actually embrace this conversion standpoint. So if I'm an agent in your organization and I have to go through your process, right, to get good, what does that process look like? How many training classes am I going through? What am I being brought into? What's my team meeting calendar? How many times am I on calls? What does that look like?
So conversion mastery is exactly that. You're constantly mastering conversion mastery. So on a daily, on a weekly. So we have team meetings every Wednesday, but we also have our own mactrainingportal.com where they can go to. There's hours upon hours. And it's always constantly updated and added of training, live training. But we also we have an ISA. Alex, he's our ISA manager. He's been a pivotal part of our success too. We're growing upon that as well. So whatever works and continues to work, keep feeding that machine and keep building upon that principle and the people with it, and just keep making it bigger and stronger and better. But the CRM, the accountability, I just think we do audits on the daily, right? And
audits meaning like check-ins?
On the CRM. That's okay. Audits of the CRM daily, I should say. So my agents, we don't micromanage because I don't have time to micromanage, and I don't like to be micromanaged myself. If you just trust the processes and systems, then you don't need to micromanage anybody.
For sure.
Manage yourself. But you have to be very clear on what the expectations are. They need to know the rules, otherwise they can't play by them. You need to hold them accountable, but they need to know what they're held accountable for. So that has to be established, and they need to know what the consequences are. In order to receive leads, these are the rules. If you don't do it, you get it timed out, you get paused, or if you don't do this on this lead, it will be reassigned. No hard feelings, we're running a business. And so that kind of accountability, people hold themselves accountable, right? Nobody's perfect, but we're always chasing
the ones
perfection.
that are in this business to take it seriously will.
Yeah, absolutely.
And those are the ones you want to develop anyway.
Well, there's the 80-20 rule, and usually 80% of the production is done by 20% of the sales staff. But I've also learned that everybody's best looks a little different. I just want everybody's best because everybody has different motivation, different drive, different needs, different monthly nuts, So some people can do 14, 15 transactions a year, smooth. The clients loved them. They get a perfect 5-star review, but that's all they're going to do. That's fine. You need those people too, right? Versus someone that does 40, 50, and every one of them's a problem. I've seen those people come and go.
Yep.
We don't need problems. We got enough of them.
Yeah.
So Amen. It's the right people. It's the right attitude, the right mentality, having a growth mindset. I don't want anybody on the team with a non-growth mindset. You can't have a 100% commission job if you don't have a growth mindset. This isn't 9 to 5.
No doubt.
If you want a 9 to 5, go make $16 an hour.
Right.
Or $50,000 a year or whatever.
Yep.
Right. So if you're wanting to make 6 figures plus in a 100% commission industry, you have to have a growth mindset.
It's interesting because you think about professionals who want to go into the medical space. They have to go through schooling for 6-7 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Just to even become a doctor, right?
Yep.
Before they start making any money.
Yep.
Same thing with lawyers, right? They go through the intense amount of schooling before they even get a shot to make money.
Yeah.
And the difference with something like real estate is that you can become an agent within 3 days, right?
Yeah.
It's just get licensed and you can become an agent. But the process doesn't change really. It's just that you're taking the schooling mentality while you're a licensed agent.
Yeah.
And it might take you those 6-7 years of schooling while you're still getting paid. You can make, if you're executing quickly,
and you're paying for all that
you're getting paid.
Schooling and student debt and et cetera.
So, but it's the mindset of are you willing to do what it takes to become a top producer at the level you're describing, which is commitment to that growth, right? Commitment to that process.
Yeah. One of my managing agents, Daniel Sabasovich, shout out. She was a teacher, and she was at another brokerage for a little bit while she was a teacher. Didn't get everything that she needed. Didn't do one transaction. Met an agent on the team, I think over at the Orange Theory or somewhere, and came over and joined the team. And she was very shy and timid in the very beginning. I might have made her cry a few times. Might have told her.
I can't envision.
There's no crying in real estate. Put your big real britches on. And now she's a badass beast. Number one, and she's a managing agent. But one of her first deals, I think it was her first deal, happened to be they bought a $1.something million house and sold a $1.something million house. So on her first transaction, she made more in that first transaction she did the entire year as a school teacher.
That's awesome.
Which is ass backwards if you think about the educated. I mean, anyway,
totally.
it's a whole other topic and show.
Yeah.
But and now she's a top producer herself, and she chews people up on a daily basis. So that little timid little, she school teacher turned into a beast that slays. So that excites me. Those kind of stories excite me.
Yeah, I always ask people that are team leaders like yourself, because a lot of times there are people that I've had on the show who are amazing individual agents and they crush it as agents.
Yeah.
And then of course we've also had your team leaders and your brokers who crush it in that space. And really it boils down to what do you get fulfilled by more?
Oh,
right?
yes.
Do you get fulfilled more by just dealing and working deals and being the hustler and crushing closings?
Yeah.
Or do you get fulfilled by stories like that? Right?
I like it all. I mean, the adrenaline. So every now and then I will break out the closing shoes and knock the dust off them and show them what I can do.
Yeah.
Right. But a lot of that in the car business, we called it a TO, a turnover. So as a team leader, you got to be willing to pick up that phone and work it out.
Sure.
And help the client bridge that gap.
Yeah.
And make sure that through your experience, and sometimes it's telling the same story a different way and from a position of authority.
Yep.
I might say that
your title itself comes across differently.
Mr. McIntosh of the McIntosh Group. Yes, it does. Yeah. And sometimes they need to hear it a second time. So, yeah, that does excite me. All of it excites me, every bit of it. And if it doesn't, then, we all listen, we all sometimes, go through some lows or even maybe get a little burnt sometimes, but you got to find that daily motivation every day.
No doubt.
And so, during the quote unquote down times is when you can kind of look into your business internally, and that's the time to build.
Yeah.
And that's the time to grow.
What do you think about your schedule and your routine now as the team leader of an organization that's been consistently top producing? How much, so correct me if I'm wrong, but my thought process is that most of your business time is split between support of the team, whether that's through lead gens or lead gen programs, consistently coaching, developing, working somehow with your team leaders and your managing agents and that kind of thing. And then also on recruiting, right? Yeah. Recruiting, attracting new agents, interviewing processes, how involved you are in that. You might have somebody else who operates that, but help me understand, is that true in your experience? Is that where most of your business time goes between those two worlds? Or am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong at all. And I think everybody has their own kind of routine and structure, but you have to have that no matter what it looks like. You want to get to the point where you're working smart, and because you've already worked hard, you put the hard work in. So like for myself, I am very routine. I have my morning routine. So I'm a little more aerodynamic these days. So I hired a trainer a year ago. I've lost 70 pounds.
That's awesome.
Put a lot of muscle on. So
look at Jats, my man.
Absolutely. Thank you. So one of the things though, but I put too much in, and you got to have that balance, mentally, spiritually, and physically, in order to have it financially.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. You can make all the money in the world, but if you're not alive to spend it, don't matter.
Yep.
Right. So I did turn 50 years young here in April, and I just decided one day, it's time for me to start giving to me, because you can't pour from an empty cup. So part of my morning routine is, 5 days a week, I go to that gym with a trainer, and he holds me accountable the same way I hold my people accountable, pushes me. I'm doing things I didn't think I would do, and the results are there.
Yeah.
And once you have those results, it becomes addicting.
Yeah.
But that was part of so I found that time. I didn't make excuses. I'm like, this is going to happen. I'll work my day around it.
Yeah.
Right. And let's face it. I mean, okay, full-time agents. Well, people, you can't do this part-time. You got to do this full-time. Okay. But even full-time agents, I mean, are they really working 40 to 50 hours a week?
Right.
Or what are they doing? Or if they're working 50 hours a week, do they need to? Can they do the same thing in 10 hours?
Right.
So it's just really working smart, So I'm blessed enough now where I have the right people in place where all of those things you talked about, you're just kind of the putting the stamp on it. You're just kind of the one that says, okay, you're the maestro, in lack of better terms. You're conducting this all these people.
Symphony.
That's it. So when you're really doing it right, listen, I'm still nowhere where I want to be, but I'm farther along than most that sit in these chairs.
Do you have like a department head meeting or something where you're meeting with each department head and they're reporting to you what's going on and you're giving your thoughts and insight?
You have to have that. Yeah. And as much as sometimes it can be a thankless job, and leaders, we understand that. So is it nice? For me, the praise is in the results, right? And the people doing well. Yeah. That's the praise. So, but we're also human. Little pat on the back, attaboy doesn't hurt either. Sure. Right. But I think it's the results. So to go back to that question, I think every team leader might be a little bit different. And I try to put it in a position where the team runs without me, and I can empower people to make decisions to a certain point. When they get too high level, they come to me. And I know a lot of people out there right now. We are in our mastermind. One of the things that a lot of people have gotten back into the hands-on more, because there was a lot of people pretty powerful people up in that room that were kind of hands-off to an extent, but now they're back more hands-on. Sure. Because, your people are still going to need you. Yeah. But I think it's just finding that fine line of balance,
Is your organization, Jason, always in a recruiting mindset? Like
always.
So there's always a recruit option available, right? So whether that's your interviewing process or whatever, do you have a vision in your mind, something laid out in terms of like how big you want the organization to be? Do you cap that at any point or no?
Sure. At one point the goal was to, 1,000 units a year to be the number one, Remax team in the world, on the planet. There's a lot of brokers out there, broker owners that are able to call themselves a team, which I think is not necessarily fair, because I'm not a broker. I'm just a team leader. So, actually the number one Remax team in the quote unquote world owns the brokerage and has a couple hundred agents. So, so that was the goal. But then the goal and the mentality kind of changed.
Do you ever want to own a brokerage or no?
I thought it did. And honestly, for me, things started to change a little bit, right? So for me, it came more about balance and happiness in life. Not that I don't want to run the number one team, but if it happens, great. Yeah. So, I just think I take it, a day at a time, because in order to have a better future, you do have to live in the now, right? Because you don't know when your last day will be, right? So, a lot of things that's happened in my life has given me more perspective. And I did this in a very short amount of time. Yeah. One of the stats that we didn't add is 90% of the people fail in this industry when they get licensed. Only 10% remain. So there's a lot of attrition.
After like 2 years, isn't it?
Not even 2 years, and even just in the beginning, out the gate. Because a lot of people, if you look up what the average agent makes their first year, they might just do a handful. You've got some stats. How many agents that did less than 5, or how many agents that did
5 is the norm.
So even out of 10% that are left, how many of those are actually making money? So where if I can take an agent their first year in school, all my managing agents, their first year out of school on the team, they made $100,000, right? By just following the process and systems, plug and play. So, a lot of that is because we do have that system in place that does allow, myself to have more freedoms. So for me, things have changed. So I don't necessarily look at it that way anymore. Like, I'm going to build the biggest, baddest. It's okay to think that way. Yeah. And it's okay to be that way. If you want to be number one, be number one. If you want to be number 5, be the best number 5. But there's nothing wrong with chasing the number one spot. But once you get to that number one spot, it's just like, okay, you're fulfilled. Like, what next? So
I can relate to a lot of things you're saying. Back when my Cutco days, that was my focus in my earlier days, was all about being the top office, top team. It was all about me. Even though it was we. In my mind, if you're thinking about it, it was really kind of me.
I don't know. You spoke French.
Yeah, we and me. That's how it all worked out. But then as I matured, I think in many ways, I started changing my goals and my passions to helping my people achieve their breakthroughs.
Yeah.
And our whole culture started to shift a little bit, where it was all about the pursuit of each individual's dreams.
Yes.
Right. And then collectively, our team was thriving because of it. Right.
Yeah.
But each individual had their own passions, their own dreams. And I've kind of viewed myself as being the best, cheerleader I could be for each individual person.
You want to leave the world a better place than you found it. And you want to leave each day a better day, and I think that's it. So that's a real giver mentality, so there's servant mentalities, but I'm an Aries, I'm a type A, I'm an Aries, but I'm also a giver, and that's part of the giving, is I feel the more you give, the more you receive.
No doubt.
Right. So I think that's just part of it. Right. So everybody's drive and motivation is different, but at the end of the day, it's almost like we all have the same common goal, to be able to provide for our family. If we don't have a family, maybe one day you will, or just live the very best life that you can.
Yeah.
Right. And that can happen. You just have to surround yourself with the right people, and you have to listen. If you don't have a growth mindset, don't take that test. If you're in real estate right now, already licensed, and you don't have a growth mindset, get out and find another career.
Yeah, give it for the right reasons, for sure. And it's not just getting the license, you're going to become a millionaire overnight. That's not how it's going to work.
You don't go straight. No, people want to go straight to CEO.
Right.
Yeah, it's a little different. They don't want to pay those dues.
Couple rapid fire things for people who don't know you that well on the personal side, just to kind of give them more of a bigger picture. What do you love to do for fun when you're just being Jason Mac, J Mac, and you're having a good time?
Yeah.
Like what gets you fired up?
Oh man,
other than Christian rock bands,
just so much striper. I'm going to Limp Bizkit on August 7th. So he's a center. I like music. Speaking of music, I love music. I love live music. So any time I get a chance to go see a show, I do. I should have been a rock star, but I quit my guitar lessons.
You dress like a rock star, though,
I do.
bro.
Well, that's the other thing. So fashion. So I love to shop. I love to eat. So that's why I have to work out 5 days a week. Right.
Okay.
So, but I would consider.
You dating anybody now? You're a single man?
I'm so single. I'm seeing double and triple. No, I'm single. I'm eligible. Let's put it that way.
Bachelor over here, ladies. Let me tell you.
Yep. So there's
looks the part.
There was more of me to go around before. There's not as much of me to go around, but I think you'll find the package a little better. So I don't know what I just said, but we'll roll with it.
Overall, so, we all know what you meant.
We'll roll with it.
The whole package, Jay.
The whole package.
Finish what you meant.
The kit caboodle. So yeah. I mean that. At the end of the day, you work hard so you can play hard. But again, I mean, I think that it comes down to this. It comes down to balance. So you've got to work hard, you play hard, but you give hard, and whether you're spiritual or not spiritual, I mean, somewhere in there, spirituality, I think, is another important thing. So making time on Sunday, whether you go to church or whatever it is, you got to make time for that higher power.
Yeah.
So I think for me, it's just
got to get fulfilled somehow.
You do, and it's just doing all the things you didn't have time to do when you're working hard, like travel. Like I'm going to Sedona in September.
Nice.
I was in Scotland.
It's gorgeous.
Scotland. I want to go to Scotland. Scottsdale. I'm part Scottish. Scottsdale, Arizona, earlier in the year, and last year. And someone said to go to Sedona, so I've been doing a lot of research on it. It looks very spiritual, right?
Yeah.
Some kind of vortex there or something.
About the sun out there.
Yeah, so I'm going there. So just, the bucket list, going to the places you haven't been. So travel, foodie. I like to shop, so the live concerts. Those are the things I do.
Let me ask you this. Do you have a favorite book or author or podcast even that you feel like has made a huge impact on you personally or professionally?
Admittedly, I need to read more. So... for me,
we have people on the show who don't read at all, but they listen to audio stuff or they just attend a seminar once a year.
I used to do all of that.
Yeah, man.
And I don't. And if that works for you, keep going. Right. So I did a lot of that, and I'm not opposed to continuing to do that. I go home, I shut the day off, and I watch just mindless TV. I do that because there's just my way of not thinking about things sometimes.
You gotta zone out sometimes.
So I do that. So I haven't read a book in a while.
Do you have a favorite TV show or movie?
I got lots of them.
What's one?
So Well, the House of Dragons on, so I watch that every Sunday.
The drama's real.
There's the Jeremy Renner. He's the mayor of Kingstown. That's really, really good. Mm-hmm. And then I'm drawing some blanks on some of the other ones. But there's a lot of good shows. So I do streaming. You know,
you're a streaming guy.
Streaming guy.
Got a favorite food?
You know, pretty much everything and anything.
If a young lady wants to ask you out on a date.
Well, here's the thing.
It's going to win your heart.
Here's the thing. I'm near and dear to the turf, not the surf. I don't do seafood, believe it or not.
Okay.
I don't eat fish. I don't do the cockroaches of the sea. I don't do
You're
lobsters.
You're a meat and potatoes guy.
That's it. I'm a Midwesterner, you know,
salt of the earth type people.
That's it. No fish for me.
I get it, man.
But I'll eat everything else.
Yeah.
Everything else.
Burns is a pretty good steak and potatoes type place. I mean, hey, amen.
Bad.
We're not that far from there right now.
Not bad at all.
All right, my man. So unfortunately, we're out of time.
I know.
I feel like we can talk for a lot about so many different topics. So
to be continued on the next episode.
We will for sure. And I apologize for not getting you on this show earlier.
No, you come to see. Whoa, here. Warmed up.
Yes,
so
we did.
Normally I sit in that.
See, we worked out the kinks first. You know, it took a little while. It took a while.
I'm fashionably early.
It took a while for us to actually start to get some traction and figure this whole thing out, but I'm glad we finally got you on at the right timing. Everything happens for a reason, man, at the right moment, right?
That's
so it was time to have you on. Let me ask you this, though.
Ask away.
Some of this is going to be contemplative based on some of the conversation you've already had. When you do sit back that day, Jay, and you're on that rocking chair and you're thinking about your legacy, right?
Yeah, Cracker Barrel.
What do you think you'd want to be most remembered for? What would be most important to you in terms of your legacy that you'd want to be most remembered for?
To be remembered is not to be forgotten, and I think that it's just, man, that guy cared, and man, I owe everything to where I'm at because of what this man put in place, and that it will continue, and it will keep going. When I'm dead and gone, it'll keep going, right? And so, to me, that's the legacy: is leaving the world a better place than you found it. And if you can put anything into people and instill that into them, where they can instill it into their generation and the next generation, it just keeps getting passed down. I mean, you know, that's it.
No doubt.
You know, that's it. So.
Well, you've been doing that, man. I think your agents speak a lot. Obviously, speak very highly of you.
They better. Making it rain.
They get fired if they don't. So. If somebody wants to reach out to you, J Mac, and just pick your brain, because there's been a lot of nuggets that you've thrown out here that I'm sure people would love to follow up on.
Yeah.
And if somebody wanted to have a conversation, or even an agent out there who's looking for a great team leader, doesn't feel like they're getting the support that they want with where they're at, and they might want to pick your brain and talk to you about what it might look like to even join your team, what's the best way for someone to reach you?
Well, pick what's left of it, but I'll give out my personal digits. It's 813-703-0683. They can come stop by the office, 4890 West Kennedy Boulevard, Suite 100, Urban
office,
Center.
By the way. Beautiful office.
Right across from West Shore Mall and West
I'm looking
Shore.
at Bank of America right here.
That's it. Right next to the Publix. And there is actually an Indian restaurant in that BP gas station there.
Okay.
I've eaten there. It's very spicy. I love spicy, though. It's very good.
Interesting. I'm not a huge fan of usually eating in gas stations, but I
know. Don't knock it till you try it. Yeah.
All right, my man. We're gonna put a bow on the episode.
Yes.
And the way we always do that is with a challenge to the audience.
Oh, boy.
So whether you're watching the live stream, you're watching or listening on any of the 15 plus podcast platforms that we're on, at this point, I hope that you can grab at least one nugget from this conversation today with J-Mac that will allow you to propel your business forward, or even yourself personally. We went through a lot of different things. Jason talked about his early days of struggling, and you might be somebody who's going through that right now, right? He talked about his mindset of being determined and just driving after that initial result and getting the business that he needed to get, and how quickly he was focused on building and scaling. Maybe you're somebody who wants to grow a team, and you're in those early throes of it, and you're trying to figure out that balance. Simply reaching out to somebody with the experience of J-Mac might be a great step in the direction of getting you the next level. Possibly you have to work on, your processes, your systems, some of the things that he talked about that have helped him grow. It helped him scale, and that might be something you need to, really commit to and get to the next level. But do something. If you're listening to this podcast, and by the way, if you don't click the button to subscribe to the podcast, you're not going to get notified when we have new episodes that come up. So please do that, so that when we drop a new episode, which is every Friday, you will be notified every time we have a new one. But take action action. Take one action step that's going to propel you forward so that the time you invested in listening to this and watching this will be worth it. And that's really what we're committed to and what this is all about. We, of course, will see you on our next episode of the Tampa Bay Real Producers Podcast, which is powered by Top Producers Nation. Check out topproducersnation.com if you're an agent out there who feels like you want support in becoming a top producer. We can help you on that journey, and we will see you later.